Hey, beautiful people, welcome back. So, a lot of us are still big time mad at Target. So much emotional anger because Target switched up their stance on diversity programs. Let's use our street smarts to make this make sense. Point blank, do we really need blue zaddy to fight red zaddy to help us compete against both of them? Does that make sense? Pay attention. Let me use an analogy to help prove the point. Would Costco's executives help Target and Walmart, their competitors, compete against Costco? Think about it because they're in the same industry. That's what we've done with DEI, which wasn't created by us. Is our community not like a major corporation like Costco, Target, or Walmart? Here's another analogy. Is it wise for a homeless man to give his last dollars to a millionaire? That's what we've done with DEI. As studies show, we benefit the least from it, but are the most emotional about it. And we take the most daggers in the chest from public anger and frustration. We're in last place in median incomes and net worth, barely above undocumented immigrants' incomes. Yet, we give our emotional dollars to others for free who benefit more from DEI than we do. Who's the biggest beneficiaries of these diversity programs? I'll give you a hint, one hint. It's the same group of non-Black women who benefited from affirmative action years ago. While our people, especially sisters, took the brunt of the public criticism against affirmative action, the wives of the very corporate executives we label as racist helped them, their wives, fulfill their affirmative action quotas. Have y'all forgotten? I want our people to use street smarts here because we keep allowing ourselves to get hustled by the big dogs. Why do we think blue zaddy will help red zaddy help us beat them? Does that make sense? Go back to the Civil War. Do you really think the Union zaddy fought the Confederate zaddy to free our ancestors? Pause on that for a second. Abraham Lincoln himself answered that question for you. He said if he could hold the Union together by keeping our ancestors in chains, he would do it without hesitation. He said that. Have y'all forgot? Duh. What does that tell you about the truth of the Civil War? We were mere pawns in a bigger battle between their tribes. They manipulated our emotions about longing to be free to their advantage. If they really cared about us, they wouldn't have turned over the Freedmen's Bureau along with its reparations bank to the Klan-backed blue zaddy. Fast forward to the 1960s. Do you really think blue zaddy boycotted red zaddy to give us civil rights? As you see now, they use that same Civil Rights and Voting Rights Act we thought was for us only for other groups. Affirmative action, same hustle. DEI, same hustle. We let ourselves be pawns to the zaddy chess masters because too many of us can't control our emotions enough to recognize the game. Game recognizes game. Some of us say we're street smart, but clearly it's a small-minded kind of street smart, a Harry Hines Boulevard street smart. Globalize your street smarts so that you can see the big chess game being played against us. Malcolm X globalized his street smarts when he went to Mecca, remember. In military academies, they teach future generals how to be calm and rational when plotting strategies and tactics. It is well known that those who can't control their emotions will be controlled by others. Excessive emotions distract you from logical thinking. Pay attention and play that back again. If you can't control your emotions, someone smarter than you will. Many of us watch professional sports. Recently, here in Dallas, we witnessed firsthand the most shocking and controversial NBA trade in history. Five-time NBA All-Star Luka Doncic, early in his prime in his career, suddenly traded to the LA Lakers for Anthony Davis and Max Christie and others. Luka is younger than Anthony, and we all notice how he was not happy about the trade at all. Yet, he still mostly kept his composure. AD, who was more experienced at the press game, showed no emotion at all. Why? Because he knows the power of emotion control. If he expressed uncontrolled rage, he would have lost control of his narrative, possibly damaging his brand deals and his acceptance in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is the fourth most lucrative media market in the country. Plus, he knows there are a lot of upset Dallas fans, some of whom are mad at him, and especially Nico Harrison, who I heard is getting threats and needs security, something like that. At the press conferences of both Luka and AD, both men were in control of their emotions because that's what successful athletes do. Same thing in the business world. I work with C-level executives of Fortune 500 corporations. These people are very competitive and goal-oriented. They don't let their emotions get the best of them. Now, let's circle back to the question I asked originally, back in the beginning. Would Costco's executives help Target and Walmart compete against Costco itself? Each year, major corporations like Costco face a set of complex problems that threaten to bankrupt them. Wise executives know you can't solve all of those problems at once. They analyze, rationalize, prioritize, and execute solutions over time, sometimes years. One of the most valuable services I provide to them as a business and technology consultant is breaking down those complex problems into smaller, simpler problems. I guide them to create a roadmap solving these problems. The highest priority problems gets handled in the first quarter. The next highest priority problem goes to the next quarter, and so on. Within those quarters, where a quarter is 3 months, by the way, those problems are broken down into smaller 2-week work units. That's what successful organizations do. All of this is done to help Costco and companies like them solve its own complex problems. Given all of that, ask yourself, would it make sense for Costco to help Target and Walmart, their competitors, with their own quarterly roadmaps while Costco needs to solve its own quarterly problems? Of course not. Costco has to look out for Costco first. Yet, as a community, which is like a major corporation, we keep helping other communities with their problems at the same time as ours. What would Costco's investors do if they found out their executives are going over to the competitors, Target and Walmart, to help them compete against Costco's interests? They would be fired. So, to all you emotional ones out there who keep helping other groups while we're in last place, you're fired. We ain't got time for all that. We got to help ourselves. Now, if Costco executives seek to do a merger and acquisition deal, pay attention, with Target or Walmart in a mutually beneficial way, then that could work. In an M&A scenario, M&A, mergers and acquisition, the acquiring company makes a proposal to the target company first. If accepted, then both sides will explore all the ways the deal is beneficial to both companies. Everything is in writing. If both sides agree to the quid pro quo, then they sign the deal and move forward with a common interest. As a community, we don't think like this. We unilaterally give other groups all kinds of benefits, but get nothing in return. That's why, like with affirmative action, we rank at the bottom of those who benefit from DEI. I think I recall that we're in last place or ninth place or something like that when it comes to who benefits from DEI, while white women were number one by a long shot again. We got to stop that madness. Business is war. Costco is no different than Target. All corporations look at the bottom line. All of these rich executives are on the same team. Just look at their pictures on their websites. They golf together, socialize. They donate to both the blue and red parties. So while you're emotional in your feelings, they're rubbing elbows at high society functions. And some of them go to those doggone DiIE after parties together. Target is not racist like you think. I know. Some will emotionally disagree and get all upset. And if you do, I can tell you don't socialize with these kind of executives. I do. They only care about green. Why is that so hard to understand? Do you really think these executives hire me because I'm chocolate? Hell to the no. If I make one critical mistake, it could cost them millions or even sink them into bankruptcy and reputational damage and probably get in trouble with the law. That's why I buy errors and omissions insurance for certain high-profile projects. I'm not where I'm at in my successful career because of no doggone affirmative action or DEI. My skills are not common and are in high demand, and I differentiate myself by many years of experience, plus I'm published in my field. A few executives may not like my skin color, but hey, they like that green that I deliver. And I may not like some of them as they can be kind of cocky and rude sometimes, but I don't care because as long as those deposits keep hitting my bank account, it's all good. It's a win. It's a win-win quid pro quo deal. Simple. No emotions. All business. A couple of years back, some of y'all forgot that Target was the #1 DEI corporation out there and was proud of it. They were so knee-deep in the diversity game that they had men going into girls' bathrooms, y'all forgot about that, gender-bending rainbow clothes and toys in the children's section, rainbow flags everywhere, and so on and so forth. But unlike many of y'all, yeah, I'm talking about y'all, I not only watch the stock market and business headlines every single day, I also keep up with conservative commentary and thoughts as part of my intelligence gathering strategy. Something our Black Wall Street ancestors sorely needed back in the day to get ahead of the race mob threat that came their way and was threatening to, destroy them back in those days, right? So you know about that part. So the backlash from not only conservative families against Target, but even moderate families were so swift and severe against Target that they almost went out of business. Y'all forgot about that. I recall that I think they may have filed bankruptcy a second time at that point, a couple of years ago. The same thing happened to Anheuser-Busch, the beer company. Target became the poster child public enemy #1 of the anti-woke crowd. So again, use your street smarts. If you were running Target, what would you have done? Would you just ignore this massive business threat from the 67% of the white people and keep riding high with rainbow pride? Or would you stay alive to avoid massive unemployment of all those Target employees? Remember, while some of us brag about being 9% of Target's revenue, those folks are 67% of their revenue. And we're running on the verge of, and we're on the verge of running Target out of business. And LGBT represents a small share as well, like smaller than ours, I think, something like that. So use your common business sense. How can Target go back to their better earning years before DEI without angering anybody? Well, the simple strategy is to reverse the extreme stuff that triggered the majority in the first place. They still have Black products in the stores, by the way, as you probably know by now. And they're running their usual Black History Month collection right now. And guess what? The 67% of people I mentioned earlier are not even bothering Target about us. They don't care. So again, we have to focus on our community's roadmap first, not the roadmaps of other groups. Business is war, and we got to treat our own casualties first before trying to treat others. We have many problems facing us that can't be tackled all at once. We have to spread them out over quarters and years. The highest priority problem to tackle in year one is, can you guess? Economics and education. It's that simple. I don't mean, when I say education, I don't mean no doggone useless degrees and training that leads to low-paying jobs. I mean STEM. Technology is the future. 7 of the top 10 billionaires are all in technology. I don't know if you guys knew that. 7 of 10. We need to become a Black Wall Street nation within a nation. Our ancestors didn't need zaddy back in those days. They only needed each other. Not only were they separate but equal, but in some cases, they were separate but superior. Say that again, doggone it. We were taught in those fake history classes that it was a bad thing when the Supreme Court issued their separate but equal ruling. Remember that? So actually, that was our reality anyway, even today. I read the actual newspapers from 120 years ago and even watched countless hours of videos of our survivors describing the glory days of Black Wall Street. White customers became customers of Black banks, grocery stores, insurance companies, doctors, lawyers, entertainers, etc. Money flowed bilaterally between our communities. We spent some money in their companies, and they spent some in ours. If left alone, we would have become powerhouses like we see the more prosperous Asian countries, as our ancestors focused on STEM back then, not useless majors and training for dead-end jobs, basically. The only problem that devastated Black Wall Street was that the Jim Crow asset theft terrorists, that's what I said, weaponized the legal system to force us to be unequal, even using authorities to destroy our once prosperous cities. And that's why, in order to resume where we left off, we need to take security and intelligence gathering seriously. Our ancestors had some kind of security back then, but it was mostly war veterans, which is not bad, but it wasn't enough. Actually, it needed to have been similar to the FBI, to be honest, where we mitigate threats before they become catastrophic. And then came, integration and desegregation. Oh boy, the twins that virtually wiped out our identity and independence to where now we get emotional if Zaddy takes away the crumbs off the table we think benefit us. Rewind and play that again. We have to start Black Wall Street virtually, almost like remote workers from home, before we realize the real, tangible Black Wall Street benefits. Otherwise, unfortunate scammers among us will take advantage of our emotions, like that one guy did with the Tulsa real estate idea a couple years ago. The problem with that was bigger than him, by the way. How are we so easily misdirected by our emotions? That was our fault. If we can't first become a virtual nation with proven trust in each other, then how can we realistically trust each other enough to build a legit physical real estate investment trust? Like I said in the short video a while back, all we need is each other. I have faith in us, but we got to get out of this mindset that one zaddy tribe will fight the other zaddy tribe to help us compete against them. Where they do that? That's not how this works. Until the next video, take care, brothers and sisters.